Hey guys, this is Kristen of kstikesdesigns. Welcome back to my channel. Be sure to save, comment, like, and subscribe. Today we'll be bleaching and tinting a unit from WigDealer. It's Black owned and based out of Ohio. I've been an avid wig enthusiast for the last decade. It is my favorite protective style. The wig I typically wear is sold out, so I had to venture out and try someone new. Likewise, with this new company, the wigs with the best lace were already sold out. The description said the knots were partially bleached. Typically, when companies say that, that basically means they're not bleached and you'll have to bleach them yourself. So I knew I was going to have to bleach going into this. I want to give you a view of the knots on my skin unbleached. Our goal today is to make the majority of those little black knots disappear so the hair appears to be growing straight out of my scalp. We'll need bleaching powder. I prefer Quick Blue, but the Clairol BW2 will also work. You mix developer into the powder to create the bleach. If this is your first couple times bleaching the knots on a wig, I would suggest using 20. It's a lower strength lift and won't bleach as fast. But I'm going to go ahead and use the maximum lift at 40. You'll need an applicator brush and gloves. Purple shampoo for blonde hair will help tone down any brassy color caused by the bleach. You can also use foil to help speed up the bleaching process. Not to worry, I've compiled all of these items on my Amazon storefront. Bleach is pretty serious, so protect the area you're working with. You see I have on an old high school t-shirt as well. I added just 2 scoops of the powder with the developer. The amount of the developer I used just wasn't enough. As you can see, it's a little clumpy. That's not the consistency we're going for. We want the consistency to be a little bit more like a paste, so I'm going to add more developer. I don't have any exact measurements on how much developer I use. It's really just something you'll have to eyeball. If you were to add too much developer and it got too runny, all you have to do is add more bleaching powder to thicken it up again. Getting there, that's a little better. I apply the bleach in a dabbing motion. Our goal is to only bleach the knots. If you press too hard, you'll be pushing bleach down the hair strand. Considering I'm using 40, I'm actually going to skip using the aluminum foil. Knowing I'm using the maximum lift, I don't want to accelerate the processing. Initially, we're going to let this sit for 15 minutes. 15 minutes have passed and I can now check on the progress of the bleach. From what I can see, the knots have nearly disappeared from the front. However, throughout the frontal, I still see some dark knots. I'm going to let it sit for another 5 minutes and then we'll go ahead and rinse. Rinse and wash with a neutralizing shampoo. This type of shampoo will stop the bleach from processing. Next, we'll use the Shimmer Light shampoo and let it sit for 15 minutes. As expected, the lace did turn a brassy orange color. Here's the results of our initial bleaching. Because you don't want to over bleach, your goal isn't to turn every single knot translucent. Some will still be there, but they'll be a lot less visible. I'm removing some of the lace to help us get a visual really quick. I wanted to throw this on really quick and see if I could get away with not tinting it. And the answer is no. I've got a few blonde hairs here in the front, and I'm gonna part it and show you where it's brassy a little further back. But if we're talking about a wig looking natural for a WebEx, Zoom, or just at the grocery store, this would be perfectly fine. I also tried it with a wig cap just to see what look that would give. It looks okay from the front, but when you part it, it's still a little brassy. Off we go to tint. Let's boil some water. I'm gonna use Rit fabric dye to tint the lace. I haven't had to bleach and tint a wig in several years. Since I'm a little rusty, I was cautious with the color. I started off with a smaller amount of dye to test the color fastness. It's better to start out with less, you can always add more. I dipped the lace and let it sit for 5 minutes or so, and I really didn't see a difference in the color at all. Here's what the water looks like, and that's just not enough color. I'm gonna add a few drops of medium ash brown to darken this up. I just used whatever semi-permanent brown color I happen to have already. I watched a couple videos after I started making my own, and I saw that a lot of people are using honey brown by Adore. And now that's a color I can work with. One of the videos I watched was Jay Stay Ready. He added about a tablespoon of salt to the dye. This also helps to cut out any red tones. I'm gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna check in at 10 minutes just to assess the progress of the dye. In this step of the process, how long you let the closure sit, in addition to how much dye you use, is really dependent upon the color of your skin and what shade you prefer your closure to be. Here's our before and after. We've made a huge improvement. Wigs tend to be pretty dense, but I don't know many people who have a hairline that is this thick and dense. To help give the appearance of a more natural hairline, you pluck some of the hair. It can be a little time consuming, but it is completely optional. I really can't wait for my normal wig to come back in stock so I can just take a wig out of the box and plop it on my head. You want to go in and pluck right behind the hairline. Here's that corner I was just plucking. It has more of a gradual effect now instead of that perfect, boxy, thick Johnny Bravo type of look. Now don't pluck yourself bald, but continue this process until you have your ideal hairline. Molding hair while it's wet will really help it maintain shape. To help the top lay flat, I apply a mousse. Then I blow dry or sit under a hooded dryer to help it set. There's quite a few different ways you can apply a wig. On a daily basis, I really don't use any adhesive. I just plop it on my head. Throw in a couple bobby pins on the sides and go. Other days, when I want to put forth a little bit more effort, I will throw on a wig cap. Now, I typically wear a brown one. You can also use a lighter color and just tint it in the area where your part is. I'm using MAC setting powder, but you can also use foundation. So in that area where there's a gap between the wig cap and my forehead, you can add a little cream or liquid foundation or concealer. I'm adding liquid foundation to give more of a rich color. And lastly, ORS Fix-It Spray. It doubles as a holding hairspray and lace adhesive. Now that it's dry, I'm going to remove this harsh edge. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Let this dry for a second and get a little tacky before applying the wig. You want to blow it dry so it sets and then apply pressure with a scarf or styling strip for a few minutes to help that lace adhere and blend seamlessly. Continue the fix-it spray and blow dry process along the hairline. One of the benefits of buying body wave hair is that it's already styled. I really don't need to do anything to this hair, but I'm going to go in with the curling wand and add some random waves, just to give some slight definition to these beach waves. I know wig application can be a little intimidating, so hopefully you found this video helpful. They are a great protective style. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to save, comment, like, and subscribe. Bye, guys.